Oops. When you are converting from 1 pint to a quart, you are going from a small unit to a big unit. So when you're going from small to big, you divide. So you are doing a fraction of a unit. Put the chair down, Emily. So I know that when I have pints to quarts, I know that in 1 quart, it equals 2 pints. So if I have 1 quart, it takes, here's a pint, there's a pint. So, I have 1 times 1 pint, and I'm trying to get to a quart. So 1 times, if I'm trying to get to a quart, and I have 1 pint, how much of a quart is 1 pint? How much of a quart is 1 pint? 1 pint. It's 1/2 of a quart. 1 pint is only 1/2 of a quart, because a pint is smaller. 1 pint only fills up 1/2 of a quart. It takes 2 pints to fill up a quart. So it's 1/2 of a quart. So 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. So your answer should be 1/2. Which should be what you have. Put the book up. I have 4 pints. So 4 times 1 pint. So still again, if I'm only looking at 1 quart, 1 quart is made up of 2 pints. This is 1 pint. This is 1 pint. If I'm trying to get to 1 quart, 1 pint to 1 quart. 1 pint is how much of 1 quart? 1/2. This is half. This is half. I need 2 halves to make 1 quart. So 1 pint is 1/2 of 1 quart. 4 times 1/2. 4 halves. 4 divided by 2 is 2 quarts.
I got that.
Now this might have been, if you didn't know your conversions. So hopefully this morning you did what I told you to, and you copied down the G thing. The big G with the 4 quarts, where you've got the big G. A gallon is made up 4 quarts. Each quart is made up of 2 pints. It's just an easy way to remember it. Each pint is made up of 2 cups. So then I can even see if I have 4 pints, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pints, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 2 quarts. So I can even check it just by looking at my G. If I have 4 pints, here's 1, 2, 3, 4 pints. Well, how many quarts do I get? 2. I have 2 cubes. Just count your cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 2 quarts out of that, 2 cubes. So it's an easy way to check it when you've got your G drawn out. Sarah and her dad visit Yo-Yo Yogurt again. This time, the scale says that Sarah has 14 ounces of vanilla in her cup. Her father's yogurt weighs half as much. So this is Sarah, and then her dad is half as much. If her dad is half as much, how much is her dad? 7, because that's just really 14 divided by 2,
Equals 7.
which is 7.
OZ.
How many pounds of frozen yogurt did they buy altogether on this visit? So just like yesterday when we had our problem set, it's way easier because second period, we tried doing a conversion and then adding. It was a whole lot more work. So 14 ounces plus 7 ounces is 21 ounces. And then we need to change it to pounds. 21 ounces equals how many pounds? So we know 21 times 1 ounce. 21. So 1 ounce is how much of a pound? 1/16. 1 ounce is 1/16. Why is it 1/16 of a pound?
Because there's 16 pounds in an ounce.
There's 16 ounces.
There's 16 ounces in a pound. It takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. And we're going from a small unit to a big unit. So there's teeny tiny. We're going really small. We've got 1 ounce.
Oh.
So 21 times 1/16. 21/16. It's improper. Do it over here by room. 16 into 21. It goes 1 time. 1 and 5/16. Can you simplify that?
No.
No. Someone needs to silence their device. So, can 5 go into 16? Can 5 go into 16? No. So it cannot. So it's 1 and 5/16 pounds all together.
Oh, I got 1 and 9/16.
Because you have 25. Do you see where you messed up? How you messed up? Because you didn't show a whole lot of work for one. You stop doing things in your head. Yes, Ryan? I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so this today we're still doing the multi-step word problems, and we're still doing unit conversions. And I think in second period they had asked me I think it was second period. It might have been this class, but I think it was second period that had asked me, are we going to do any unit, well, any measurement conversions where they're mixed fractions? And I said yes. And we're doing that today. Because sometimes you can buy things that are like 2.5 pounds, 3.25 ounces, 3 1/4. It's not always going to be really small and pretty. Because didn't we say that they had 1 5/16 of a pound of ice cream? So it's not always going to be small and pretty fractions. They are going to be mixed fractions, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do mixed fractions. Do the steps change?
No.
No, the steps are the same. The fractions are just bigger. That's all. The steps are the same. The fractions are just larger. Yes, ma'am.
When we're doing the mixed fractions, are we going to simplify the mixed fractions?
When you say simplify the mixed fractions, what do you mean? When you say simplify, I mean like if I have 2/4, I turn it into 1/2. Now, that's what simplify means. Now, improper is something totally different. Because that is two totally different things. If it's improper, we take care of it and make it a mixed fraction. If it's simplify, that just means that we simplify it and make it smaller. So, let's work on these. Let's do this. Okay. No, we are moving on, buddy. So, if I have 3/4 of a pound of cream cheese, or that's what my recipe calls for. I love cream cheese. I like recipes that ask for cream cheese. It's kind of like, you know, cheesecake. So, yeah, cream cheese. Put that on a bagel. Be like, no.
Oh no.
Okay? So, if a recipe calls for 3/4 of a pound of cream cheese, and again, this is like a real world problem. Adley, Jaden, Sage, are you writing things down? Okay. So, you go to the grocery store, and you can see where this would be important, where you would need to know. So, a lot of times the recipes go ahead and put it in store type. They already put it in the ounces for you, but like some old recipes don't. And you do have to be able to convert them. So, say you have an old recipe and it says 3/4 of a pound of cream cheese. Well, when you go to the store has it in a tub that's 12 ounces. Whatever shall you do? What will you do? Freak out and go, I don't know how much to buy.
Leave this store.
Why would you leave the store? You still need cream cheese. Say you want to make a cheesecake.
Because I ain't finna wait
For your wonderful teacher who loves cheesecake.
I need to learn. I might know how to do it.
I'll make a sandwich.
Couldn't you do a measurement conversion because your awesome math teacher taught you how to do that already?
I'm not off the bat. It's not.
Just make a sandwich.
No, but you want to make a cheesecake for
Make a cheesecake with some strawberries on top.
strawberries.
Yeah. So
And put a strawberry on a sandwich.
So you could very easily
Cake.
do 3/4 of a pound equals how many ounces? Right after that, you don't know. So, couldn't you convert the pounds to ounces? Yes, you could. So, what would you need to do? What do you need to do?
First, you need to find out how many IBs or whatever it's called.
Pounds.
Yeah, that. Well, whatever. You need to find out how many are in a pound in a OZ, whatever it's called.
Ounce.
So 3/4 times 1 pound. So what would you do, Amani?
I was thinking that 3/4 times 1 pound.
Okay, so let's think about that for a minute. Because are we going from, if we go from small to big, we divide. We go from big to small. So small to big, we divide. Small to big, Jeremy taught me this. Small to big, divide. Big to small, multiply. So big, small, multiply. I almost feel like I'm a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger or something. I go like that. So big, small, you multiply. So I've already got my pound, my whole pound right here. So my 1 pound. So 3/4 times what is going to go here? 16 ounces. Because am I doing a little one? I'm doing all of it. Because I've already got my whole thing. I've already got my 1 pound. I've got my big. I'm going small. 1 pound, I'm going to a small thing. So I'm going to be multiplying by the big unit. So 16 ounces. This is where you have to be very careful. You're like, okay, am I multiplying by a big number or am I multiplying by a fraction? So this is where you have to be very careful. Just because we did fractions yesterday doesn't mean we're doing fractions every day. Okay? I kind of did a little rhyme there. Today and day and yesterday and okay. So think about whether if you're doing the top, then you're doing multiplying by the whole number. If you're doing just one teeny tiny piece of it, then you're doing the fraction. One small piece is the fraction. The whole thing. We had 1 pound. That's the whole thing. Then it's all of it. 16 ounces. Sir?
Where did the 12 ounces go?
This is where we're looking. This isn't going anywhere. This is just saying that this is a reference. Because it says, a recipe calls for 3/4 pounds of cream cheese. A small tub of cream cheese at the grocery store weighs 12 ounces. Is this enough for the recipe? So if she buys this, no. So if she buys this, is it enough for this recipe. So we need to figure out this. So 3 times 16 over 4 times 1. I can do, don't have to do, but I can do the simplifying in the problem. So this becomes 1, this becomes 4. What do you get?
12 over 1.
12 over 1. That equals 12 ounces. So whenever you buy a 12-ounce container of cream cheese, it is 3/4 of a pound of cream cheese. So, oh, you yelled out 9 earlier. So you hush, Mr. Interrupting Hand. So whenever you,
It is true.
so whenever you buy a 12-ounce container of cream cheese, it's actually 3/4 of a pound. It's not a full pound, but it's almost a pound of cream cheese. It would be more than a pound.
Yesterday,
What pound did you pour? That means 4 would be 1/4.
Yeah,
And then 8 would be 2/4.
Ma'am?
But you like, know that 16 ounces is a pound, and then the 12 is like not all the way a pound, and then you like know that 4/4 of a 3 is 4 and a half. It makes sense. I know. It's just everything makes sense in my brain. It makes
Okay, so, going into what we're doing today, if we have, before we would do, if we had 4 yards and we want to know how many feet that is. So we're going from a big unit to a small unit. We would know how to do that. So where it would be the 4 times 1 yard. And then because we have 1 yard is made up of 3 feet. But if we want to know how many feet that is, 1 foot I messed myself up. Okay, yeah. So 1 yard, I messed myself up. 1 yard is equal to what? We're going from big to small, so that means multiply. See, I even messed myself up because I was determined to make it doing a fraction. See? So 1 yard is equal to
3 feet.
See, we have the whole total right here.
146. No,
We're not doing inches, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, 143.
Yeah.
Are we doing 1 unit or are we doing all of them? The whole total. 3 feet. So 4 times 3 is 12 feet. We have 4 yards. If 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, 2 yards is equal to 6 feet. 3 yards, 9 feet. Don't let our lesson yesterday make it to where you determine to make everything a fraction. Big to small, you just multiply. It's the small to big. You have to be able to pay attention to what you're doing. 4 yards, 12 feet. Okay? I messed myself up there too because I was determined to make it a fraction just like you would. So, what if I have 4 1/3 of a yard? Do my steps change? No. It's still 4 1/3 times 1 yard. I still want to know how many feet that is. So 4 1/3 times, I'm going from 1 yard to feet. How many feet are in 1 yard? 3. So now it's 3 times 4 1/3. Now I know that some of you still forget how to multiply a whole number times a mixed fraction. So when you're doing a whole number times a mixed fraction, it's the same thing as 4 1/3 plus 4 1/3 plus 4 1/3. 4 1/3 times 3. So the easiest thing is 3 times 4. 12. 3 times 1. 3. And then I leave the denominator alone because it's the same as repeated addition. Because if I did 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12, because 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12. 1 plus 1 plus 1. 3 and 3 and 3. You leave the denominator alone because you don't add your denominators. It's the same. You have a question?
So it would just be like a
3/3 is 1. You have to deal with that. You can't leave this as it is. So that would be 12 plus this becomes 1. So then my answer now becomes 13 total feet. Because 1/3, if you look at like a tape diagram, 1/3 of a yard is what? It's 1 foot. Because that's 1 foot, that's 1 foot, that's 1 foot. Takes 3 feet to make a yard. So it would be 12 feet plus another foot, 13 feet.
That's 13, yeah. Of course.
Of course. How did I not see this before?
That right. Of course. How did I not see this before? You get it?
2, no, and 1/4 feet equals how many inches? So we're going big to small. So we're not doing multiplying a mixed fraction by a fraction. I haven't taught you that, so it's really going to be a mixed fraction times a whole number. So 2 1/4 times 1 foot. Two and 1/4 times, we're going to inches. How many inches are in a foot? 12. So now it's 2 1/4 times 12. Then you just multiply this number times the whole number and this number times the numerator. 12 times 2. 12 times 1. Leave your denominator alone. Since this is an improper fraction, I have to deal with it. So off to the side somewhere, I'm going to deal with this. I can't forget about this. I'm going to go ahead and write it. It's going to be 24 plus whatever I get here. 4 into 12. So 4 goes into 12
3 times.
3 times. And the funny thing that I've seen lately is some people do this, and they're determined to give me like 3, and they just freak out, and they want to make this a fraction. No. When you end up with 0 as a remainder,
It's just a
it's just 3.
but that's still right. But that's still right. No,
But why give me 0 fourths? It just means that it divided evenly, and your answer is just 3.
But that's
But
still
there
right.
is no but. It just went in evenly. Your answer is just 3. There is no but. So 24 plus 3. 27 inches. Don't make it harder than it is.
Plus 12.
Why I keep taking your money? So 27 inches. So again, if you think about the reasonableness of your answer, you had 2 feet. 2 feet is 24 inches. A fourth of a foot. A fourth of a foot. 1/4 of a foot. A foot is how much? How much is a foot? 12 inches.
12 inches.
So 1/4 of 12 is
12 folds.
Okay.
No, 3.
Yeah, which is 3. So 12 fourths is 3. So I know that when earlier I said that we were going to be doing measurement conversions with mixed fractions, did you start to panic and get sweaty a little bit? And then now that you see it, are you going, oh my gosh, what was I panicking about?
I love it.
Now it's really, if you can multiply a mixed fraction by a whole number, you're fine. And if you can do a regular conversion, you're fine. But if you spent the whole time looking at something else or not paying attention, well then you're going to not know what to do.
Didn't we do something like this in the beginning of the year?
I think so. These lessons tend to repeat. Or I introduce it and then we move on to something else. And we'll do one more. 3/2 of a gallon equals
Gal.
so 3/2 times 1 gallon. 3/2 times how many quarts make a gallon? 4 quarts make a gallon. And Mommy's like, man, got this. I'm so confident. So now you just do 4 times 3.
12.
4 times 1.
4.
Leave the 2. So now I've got to bring this down. Deal with this. 2. Add them together. So it's 14 quarts. Easy.
Miss Sasha, why you said it like that?
Easy. So, say for example, you have to go from from 5/2 of a foot to yards, and that one you're having to go from small to big, and when you go from small to big, you have to divide. So if I have 5/2 times 1 foot, and I have to go, let's see, there's 5.5, and I'm going from feet to yards. How many feet?
3.
No, hold on. If there's the yard, when I have 1 foot and I'm going to yards. 1 foot. That's my unit that I have. Yeah. What was it again? 1/3. I'm going from 1 foot. So that's the thing, is what you're starting with and what you're going to. So I'm going from the small unit to the big unit. So this is what I have. So that was where I got this. So 1/3. 1 foot is 1/3 of a yard. So this is where some of you might have a little bit of difficulty. Now this, as it is, you might, whoops, don't sit on the mouse. Okay, so this is where you're probably going to run into, bless you, a little bit of, I'm not worried about the chips right now. Where you're going to run into a little bit of difficulty. And it's not really that hard, but the main thing that you're going to have to do is really watch and use the anchor chart that I have that's been up there since second quarter. Because in order to do this, you're going to have to turn this into an improper fraction. Because you know that whenever we have an improper fraction,
That one don't work.
excuse me. So when you're going from an improper to a mixed fraction, you divide and then you subtract. Well, now you're going to multiply and add. So 5, on that anchor chart in case you forget. This one is 5 times 2 plus 1. So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. And you keep the denominator. Then I can multiply 1/3. And then you just go straight across, just like we multiply our fractions. 11, 6. So 6 goes into 11. 5 times, no, once. 1 time with the remainder of 5 of a yard. So in order to be able to multiply these, you have to turn this into an improper fraction. So it's multiply, add. And it's up there in case you forget. It's got mixed number to an improper. And so then it's it's got the multiply and then the add. Just like you would divide and subtract to go the other way, it's multiply and add. Multiply and add. Okay, so A is already done for you. With B, you have 1 1/4 of a foot, and you need to figure out how many yards that is. They did most of B for you. And you started off with 1 1/4 of a foot. So what they did is they split it up. They've got 1 1/4 times 1 foot, and 1 foot.
Different.
Is it not?
It's different.
Oh, did I accidentally copy the homework? Y'all should have been like, yeah, go ahead and do the homework. Problem set 2.0. All right. Trying again. So you have 1 1/2 quarts. Gallons. Okay. Saying I'm distracted doesn't understand. So you have 1.5. And a quart is 1/4 of a gallon. Because it takes 4 quarts to make a gallon. So if you have 1 quart, it's 1/4 of a gallon. So I have to take this fraction, 1 1/2, and turn it into an improper fraction so that I can multiply it. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So it becomes 3/2. I'm taking this right here, 1/4, and I'm multiplying them. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. So you have 3/8 of a gallon. And you are not dividing those because it's not improper. Why would you even make that a mixed fraction? It's not improper. I've seen where some people, not just you, some people would try to divide that because they're so used to dividing everything. If the numerator is not bigger, leave it alone. Stop trying to divide it. Only if the numerator is bigger do you divide that. So 4 2/3 of a foot, and you're trying to go to inches. So I'm going from big to small, so I multiply. So I'm not making a fraction. Only when I'm dividing do I do a fraction. Big to small, divide. So I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. I multiply. So a foot, 4 2/3 times 1 foot. 4 2/3 times what?
12
inches, because I'm going to inches. So it's not going to be 1/12 because I've got the whole foot. If I look at my tape diagram, 1 foot is made up of 12 inches. I'm looking at what's up top, not the units. When I'm doing the whole thing, I'm not doing a fraction. So it's the whole thing. So I've got 12 units, 12 inches. So 4 2/3. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14/3 times 12 over 1. I do not even want to multiply that. So I might try to do the simplifying within the problem. 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 can go into 12 4 times. 14 times 4. I'm going to do that off to the side. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 56 over 1 equals 56 inches. You get that right? Yeah.
I didn't buy it for.
Well, I did too. Just 56 over 1.
I know, but I did like 112.
Oh.
What?
Well, do you see why it's not? Okay. So it's 56 inches because you're starting off with the feet. I've got 4 feet, and I already know that should be 48 inches. I've got 4 feet. That's a whole lot of inches. So, pints to quarts. I'm starting off small, pints. I'm going to quarts. So I should divide pints to quarts. I'm dividing. So my unit should be a fraction. I'm dividing. I should have a fraction. 9.5 times 1 pint. So if I have over here, I've got 1 quart. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each one of these, I've got my pints. So I've got 1 pint right there. So 1 pint is how much of a 1 quart? 1 pint. 1 pint. How many quarts make up a pot? Oh darn it! I was thinking quarts and gallons. Sorry. Sorry. I'm telling you, my brain is at home. I left it. Thank you, Mommy. See, you have the chart right there. So 1 pint is how much of a quart? That'd be why y'all were giving me the crazy eye. So 9.5 times 1/2 of a quart. Ugh, I should have stood in bed. So, can I multiply it like it is? I think in quarts and gallons. Duh. Okay, so I can't multiply this. I need to make it improper. 2 times 9, 18 plus 1. 19. I couldn't hear you. 2, 1. So what do I get here?
19/4.
19 fourths.
Yes, which equals 4 and 3/4.
4 into 19. 4 goes into 19.
4 times.
4 times. If I do 5, it's too many.
Yeah.
16
With 3.
3. So it's 4 and 3/4 of a quart. Because 1 pint is half of a quart. It takes 2 pints to make a quart. We were going from a small unit to a big unit, so we have to divide, which means you're using a fraction of a unit. Oh, that's why you don't go to the library or get on stride while I'm doing math lessons. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know.
That's all I was saying. Because 56 is right there.
56 over 1?
It's just 56.
Well, I just said 56. There were 56 up there. I was being silly when I wrote 56 over 1. I had to really divide that. I simplified in the problem. I didn't really want to multiply 14 times 12. So I simplified the problem in the problem, and I ended up with 56 over 1, which would be 56. And I wrote the answer right there.
Nice. Right there. Yeah.
Kind of running out of room.
Right here.
3 3/5 of an hour
60.
going to minutes. Big to small, multiply. Is my answer going to be 60?
No.
No, because I've got 3 hours. I know, you kept blurting out 60. I wasn't even asking a question. So, 3 3/5 of an hour times minutes. I'm going from big to small. Am I using a fraction or am I using the whole unit? The whole unit. So 3 3, whoops, right a 5, not another 3, times 1 hour. So 3 3/5. And I'm going from an hour to minutes. To what?
60.
60 minutes. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So I need to turn this into a mixed, it is a mixed, improper. So, well, you, it will actually turn out to be a whole number, not even a fraction, so yeah. So 5 times 3 is, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Just leave it like that and multiply.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because then you don't need to do that. You can either turn this into an improper fraction and multiply it, or do what I've been telling you and just multiply this times this and this times that, because it would be easier to multiply. You could do it either way. I see what you're saying. I'm telling you, brain is at home to this. So, if you want to just multiply it across so that you're not having to multiply 60 by 18, either way. So, 60 times 3
is 180.
Is 180, and then you have 180 over 5.
And then,
yeah, because 6 times 3 is 18, and then slap a 0 on there.
Oh, I got 60. I got 60 times 18.
Well, but see, you can do that too.
1,080.
But see, you can do that too, which is what I said just a minute ago.
See, I just times 60 times 3 because
And then
it has 3 hours.
And
so
then
I
you just divide it.
Yeah.
See, you could do that. So then 5 into 180, and that, how many times have I said there's more than one way to solve a problem?
A lot.
So 3, 15, 3, 36. So then you end up with, this would be 36. So 180
34
plus 36.
216.
So it'll be 216 minutes.
Yay! That's first.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you.
Oh, my two.
I make eye contact with people when I talk to them. Okay, we're going feet to yards. Small to big, divide. So you should have a fraction in this unit. So 3 2/3. So on this one, I will have to turn this into an improper fraction. Times 1 foot. So 3 2/3. 1 foot is equal to how much of a yard?
1/3.
1/3 of a yard. We've got 1 foot. If it takes 3 feet, if it takes 3 feet to make a yard and you've only got 1 foot, it's 1/3 of that 1 yard. So 1/3. I can't multiply these like they are. So this is mine. 11/3 times 1/3. 11/9. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 is 11.
Maybe it's one.
But it's still driving. You're a fraction of a number. Maybe
Exactly. Gosh. 9 into 11 is 1. Yeah, where were you the other 2 times I said that? Did you leave your brain at home like I did?
Yes,
Yes, I did.
Always.
9, 2, so it's 1 and 2/9 of a yard. Adley.
I took 11 because I need 30. I don't get it right. I got it right.
Adley. My word.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
These are really big numbers.
Okay, so, but not as big as the number that you got. That's the thing. I think maybe, okay, so let's look at number 2. So three dump trucks are carrying topsoil to a construction site. Truck A carries, so I'm going to do a little visual right here. We have 3 trucks. Truck A carries 3,545 pounds. Truck B carries 1,750. They're over there. 1,758 pounds, and truck C carries 3,697 pounds. They want to know how many tons of topsoil are the 3 trucks carrying all together. So, the first thing that you might want to do is add them all together, because these are pounds and we need to figure out how many tons. So when I have all of these and I need to figure out these, what do I need to do? Add. So 3,000, I'm not going to put my commas in there. My commas are going to make me do something funny. Please stop that. Yes, ma'am, works just fine. And so you weren't even doing it, it was back there. So this is 15, that makes it 20. This is 6, this is 11, this is 20. This is 7, this is 14, this is 20. This is 6, this is 8, this is 9. Okay, so it's a total of 9,000 pounds. Alright, so it's a total of 9,000 pounds. So, most people know that 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So we're going from a small unit to a big unit. So you divide. If you multiply, you got a huge number. So that's not even necessary. So then you would end up with like 18,000 tons. And that's, now some things do weigh that much. But if you've only got 3,000 pounds, would that be like 60,000 tons? No, when 2,000 pounds is only 1 ton. If 2,000 pounds is 1 ton, how many tons would A have? 1 ton and then a little extra. Would this even... How many tons would this one have? Not even 1. How many tons would this one have? 1 and a little more. So we've got about 3 tons. It's somewhere around where our answer should be. So one thing that you should do when you're solving your answers is trying to figure out reasonable answers. You're estimating your answer to see if it's reasonable. So, with this, we have 9,000 pounds. And we're trying to see how many tons. Big capital T in weight. In measurement, big capital T can be tablespoons or tons. Little t is teaspoon, big T is tablespoon.
How do you know?
Well, if you're looking at a recipe book, are you going to put tons of nutmeg?
No.
That's a whole lot of nutmeg. So, like if you're looking at a bridge, did they use, a whole bunch of teaspoons of concrete?
No.
No, I'd be like, 1, 2, 3. No, that'd be tons. So, it's all in reasonableness. I mean, this would be weight, and the other one is like measurement of spoons. So, you kind of draw conclusions on that one. So, this is tons. So 9,000 pounds is how many tons? So 9,000 times 1 pound. Please stop with the water bottle and put it up. I don't mind the water bottles because I like you guys to stay hydrated, but the crinkling, absolutely not. So 9,000 times, if we only have 1 pound, how is that in relation to a ton when we only have 1 pound?
1 2,000.
1 2,000. Because it takes 2,000 pounds to equal 1 ton. So if we only have 1 pound, it's 1 out of 2,000 that are necessary to make the whole ton. So if I multiply this out, does this make more sense now?
Yeah.
Because you got that really, really huge number. When I multiply this out, you get 9,000 over 2,000. Now, I can show you a really neat little trick for dividing numbers like this, but some of you are going to take it and run with it, and some of you, I'm sorry to say, are going to kind of mess it up. My teachers, this is an old school thing. Okay. When you are dividing numbers that are powers of 10, can you say that these are powers of 10?
Yeah.
Because they've got like thousands on them.
And a whole bunch of
When you are dividing numbers, like you got 9,000 divided by 2,000, would you really want to divide 2,000 on the outside and 9,000 on the inside?
No.
Can you do a little trick and just do 9 divided by 2?
No.
So you're kind of ignoring the zeros.
The zeros don't have any value.
Well, they do.
But they
They do, but you can kind of pretend they're not there. So what my teachers taught me to do, you can kind of cancel them out. So if you take 1 from here, you can take 1 from there. But you have to have an even number. If I take 1 from here, I can take 1 from there, 1 from there, I can take 1 from there, 1 from there, I can take 1 from there. But you can't just be like with your zeros. They have to be powers of 10 zeros. They have to be on the end of the numbers. They cannot be in the middle. Like you can't have 409 divided by 504. Can't do that. Why are you talking for me, Ryan? I'm sorry, was that Ethan or Emily or someone back there? Stop talking for me. I can't go, okay, there's a 0 here and a 0 there. Because 409 divided by 240 is not the same as 49 divided by 24. That's not the same. But 9,000 divided by 2,000 would give me the same answer as 9 divided by 2. It would be the same thing. So I can cancel these zeros out because I would get the same thing.
You would have to add.
I can't do this. Nigel, are you going to stop playing with your pencil and pay attention? I can't do this. This is not allowed. So like I said, some people are going to be like, oh yeah, I got it. Some people don't remember that.
So only at the end.
Only at the end when they are hours of 10, if you have one on the bottom and you have one on the top in the same exact place. Okay? So now I can do, oh look, 9 divided by 2. Oh, look at that. So 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So then your answer is 4 1/2 tons. Because if I take 2,000 and I multiply it by 4, I still get 8,000. It would still be the same thing. 2,000 still goes into 9,000 4 times. I would still get the same answer if I divided that 2,000 into 9,000. It would still go 4 times. And it would be 4 and 1,000 over 2,000. And then I would have to simplify that.
Ooh, that's a lot of simplifying right there.
Which, don't you still get the same answer? Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Okay. Melissa buys 3/4 gallons of iced tea.